Okay, and that is our first video behind me now. I just posted a video. Go check that out if you want. It's kind of a longer video. It's about 12 minutes long. Our next video is also a question to an email. This is more of a this is not really a question, but they're asking me to respond or to react to a post on answers.yahoo.com. And that post is a question, which and by the way, I was reading somewhere that someone was criticizing Wikipedia, and someone asked what is the best source on YouTube, on the internet, and not on YouTube, on the internet. And someone pointed out that probably Yahoo. They said definitely answers.yahoo.com is better than Wikipedia. I don't know about that. I don't know how big this answer site is. I occasionally see it, but when I'm looking for something, I go to Wikipedia. I do know that Harvard University doesn't accept Wikipedia as a source that you can put in your footnotes, but other universities are starting to. There's a couple of universities. It's getting better and better. So most of the information on Wikipedia is fairly accurate, but some questions like this will probably never show up on Wikipedia. And the question is, what do Japanese people think of white people? So this guy says, and when was this posted? I don't even know. They should say the date. He says, I might be going to Japan as an exchange student. I was wondering what Japanese people generally think of, how Japanese people generally view white people. I've heard a couple of different opinions about this. One of my friends said she felt totally welcome there, but another said he felt that they act friendly towards you, but they want you to leave. Is it true that they don't like white people? So that question alone is kind of dumb, because he said one person said I felt welcome, but the other person said that they like you, but they want you to leave. And then his last question is basically only reflecting the second opinion. Is it true that they don't like white people? First of all, I am debatably white. Okay, I grew up in the States amongst white people. All the kids in my high school class were white, except for one other debatably white person like me, and a black guy. I think we had one black guy in our graduating class. So that kind of place. What can I say about that? I feel almost embarrassed saying that. I don't know why, but so I thought I was white but of course in my home I grew up speaking Spanish with my parents. My brothers and sisters, we always spoke English. But when I went to New York City for college, people would walk up to me in the street and ask me questions in Spanish. Like, oye, ¿qué horas son? And I'm like, ¿por qué sabes que yo hablo español? Like, why do you know? Hey, what time is it? They would ask me. And I'd say, why? How do you know I speak Spanish? And they're like, no, me estás cagando? Like, what, are you shitting me, man? I was like I had no, I was young. I was 17 when I first went to college. I was young. And I had no idea what I look like to other people. Now, I understand now, thanks to Hiko Simon, that I apparently look Mexican to many of you, which is fine. Nothing wrong with being Mexican, or gay, or a lesbian. Any of those things, that's fine. It's fine if you want to be Mexican. Or Jewish, I love South Park where the guy says, Kenny says, was it Kenny? Somebody says, he Jewish. He says he's Jewish. But Cartman is like, no, dude, don't say that about yourself. I'm a Jew. He goes, I'm a Jew. He goes, Cartman's like, no, I can't let you talk about yourself that way. Which I thought is so funny. I think someone did the same joke with Mexican too, but anyway. Okay, so debatably, am I even qualified to answer this question? I don't know. He was especially interested, and I'll put a link to this question, this whole conversation in the description. You can read along if you like. But here's the poster. The person who emailed me was particularly interested in the other answers that were already on here, and they're not many, but there are a few. One of them is from a guy named Usagi Kazuki, who says, there are going to be mixed feelings towards you no matter what country you go to. I think that friend number 2 felt that way because Japanese don't wear their emotions on their sleeves quite as much as Westerners do. And because Westerners are super straightforward. Right? Japanese will generally accept you as long as you're not an asshole. So, and then he said, here are some tips from me. And I'll go through these and I'll react. Number 1, don't act cold towards Japanese people. Common sense. Don't act cold towards anybody. Number 2, don't call Japanese people Asians, Orientals, etc. Why would you ever talk to a Japanese person and say Oriental or Asian? You would say Japanese, right? That just seems strange. Japanese are Asians, though. That's fine. Oriental is not a PC word anymore. So that's just, I don't know. It's clueless advice. Number 3, well, just unnecessary. Okay, not very helpful. Number 3, don't compare Japanese people and culture to other Eastern people or cultures. I will say that if you want to piss off a Japanese person, call them Korean. You know, I do that in the comments sometimes to piss off people. They do not like to be confused with Koreans in general, or Chinese. And I've done this in class too. You know, when I teach the word, mistake somebody for something, right? I was mistaken for something, and I point out to them. I said, it's not a big deal. You know, if people mistake me for Canadian, I don't get angry, or French or anything. I've been mistaken for French, French, Iranian, Italian, American, Canadian, Brazilian. Why would I get angry? Who the hell cares, you know? Nobody can tell what anybody looks like. You know, it's like an insult. Like, oh, I'm not Mexican. Why would I be insulted? That's what you think. That's fine. Okay, so be polite. Again, common sense. Be polite. Next advice. Try to adapt to Japanese mannerisms or else you're likely to be outcasted. Is that a word? I think it's outcast. Or make some people feel awkward. Debatable. I'll give you an example of. I have adopted some Japanese mannerisms quite naturally. For example, when I'm walking through a crowd, I'll do this with my hand, like, excuse me, coming through. I actually will bow my head a little bit on the telephone sometimes. Very rarely, but I've done that before. Is that it? And what else? What else do I do? Maybe this is another mannerism I picked up, scratching my head when I'm confused or thinking. You're not supposed to cross your hands like this when you're in Japan. That's considered impolite. I make a conscious effort not to do that because I understand some people might take that as an insult. So I try not to scratch my balls in public anymore. I'm completely joking. I've never done that. I can't think of anything else, but I have, adopted a few mannerisms, but not too many. I don't know. But I can't think of consciously adopt what mannerisms you're going to adopt. Now just behave the rules. Take off your shoes when you walk in the house. Don't stick your chopsticks in rice, you know. I mean, it's common sense stuff. Once you figure it out, once you learn them. You know. When you go in the toilet, put on the toilet slippers. When you leave the toilet, take off the toilet slippers. You know, stuff like that. So I don't know. You know, again, common sense. Next advice: try not to be self-absorbed and only take as much space as you need in public. Like Japanese salarymen who sit like this, spread eagled. You know. Again, common sense, right? You do that in New York City too, right? You try to let other people sit down, right? Definitely don't use your cell phone or anything that makes noise. Yeah, okay. In the subway, that might be a little bit different. You try to be quieter in public places. Or he goes, or else somebody's likely to take a video of you and post it online because it's considered rude. Yeah, that's rarely happened ever. Next advice: don't act suspicious in shops. What is acting suspicious? I'm just looking for milk. This guy has this is nothing. Last one: become very familiar with Japanese laws. You will be deported if you are caught breaking laws. Japanese laws are nothing special. It's pretty obvious. The only thing that you might have some trouble with is do not carry a knife that's over 5.5 centimeters long. That's illegal. Besides that, you shouldn't have any problem here. Let's see. Another person says no standard answer. That's fine. Another person says I have good contacts with Japanese people. The reason why they dislike many white people is because white people do not respect their traditions and their social norms. First of all, they do not dislike white people in general. It's there's not like a general I hate white people thing in Japan. That's silly. But some of us are pigs, as this poster points out, and I agree with that. But it's not a general dislike. It's mostly nothing. They don't even think about us, guys. You guys are so egocentric. But honestly, Japanese people are pretty mysterious. They might laugh even if they don't like something. You'll find out when you're there. But generally, if you respect them, you'll be respected. And the sources are, I've been to Japan twice, and I have Japanese friends. So this person, again, I don't think their advice is very useful. Okay, the last comment here on this check the description for what I'm talking about here is from a guy named Iron Man. The last post, he says, from school they are taught Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Okay, so I think he's trying to say these are reasons that they do dislike foreigners. One of them is Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Most Japanese don't think about this at all. It never comes up. I have seen it. One idiot emailed my school, complaining that he doesn't speak English, obviously. He thinks that I hate Japanese. And he says, how can I possibly baka ni shiteru? Baka ni suru means to ridicule Japanese people after being an American because we dropped bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. Like, dude, my family wasn't even in the country yet. So it's ridiculous. But most Japanese don't ever bring that up, and it's nothing. In fact, a lot of people think they deserved it. So, number 2. The Greater East Asia Coast Sphere, World War II, to liberate Asia from Western colonial powers. So he's saying that they dislike white people because we colonized most of Asia, and they had to fight against us in World War II to liberate Asia from us. So that's one reason they dislike us. Number 3, they see Christians as a threat because of colonizations of Africa, Latin America, Asia, Middle East by Westerners. Okay. No, they don't. They do not see Christianity as a threat. I will say it sounds kind of logical because there's a lot of Christians in Korea, but in Japan, no. Christians are less than 1%, if that much. I would say I'd be surprised if they're 2%. How about that? I looked it up once. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's tiny. So Christianity is not a threat. No one thinks about that. And religion is not a big deal in Japan. Most people are not religious at all. You will not see any religious fanatics, Buddhists or Shintoists here in Japan like you do in the States. Christians or Jews or Muslims or anything. Whatever crazy religion. Except for the cults, which there are, but again, tiny percentage, right? The next, number 4, they haven't forgotten. This is the reasons they hate white people. They haven't forgotten the taunts they received from whites before they became industrialized. For example, primitive, weak, short Japs, bow-legged, canine teeth, chinky eyes, ignorance, race of slaves, etc. Ironically, now whites accept Japanese as the only equal Asian race. So, first of all, I don't think most Japanese don't ever bring that up. I have met some Japanese who refer to themselves as yellow monkeys or as yellow. And I've said before, I think that's weird because I don't think anybody looks yellow. I'm as yellow as any Japanese person. So, but I've had some people jokingly refer to themselves as that. I guess it'd be like, yo nigga, kind of, bro kind of thing, I guess. I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal. Okay. I don't think they dwell on any of that at all. Most people are not around at the time, and they don't know about that. Are Japanese the only white? Are the only Asians accepted as their equals? I don't know. Again, I have no idea. I think Americans don't accept anyone as their equals. We're pretty arrogant bastards. So, on the positive side, hold on. Number 5, you can speak Japanese, act Japanese, and and live there, second generation, but they will never accept you. You're welcome only as a guest, but not to stay. Possibly true. Well, no, you are welcome as a guest, and you are welcome to stay. You may live in Japan like me forever, and it's possible that many people will never accept you as Japanese. That's true. But at the same time, I'm quite fine that way. I'm not Japanese. I don't expect to be accepted as a Japanese person. I'm quite fine being an American for life until I die. Even with my kid coming, I don't care. That's fine. But does it mean I'm not welcome? Just because people don't accept you as a Japanese person doesn't mean you're not welcome. I think I'm quite welcome. I think many people are very welcoming to me in my neighborhood. You know, no one bats an eye. I walk around, say hello to people. Oh, hi, how you doing? Talk to people. I'm invited to their homes. They hate stupid foreigners, as you can see in YouTube. I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're trying to say. Maybe they're talking about that green guy. What's the guy? The guy who put vibrators on sushi belts walking around. I don't know who they're talking about. On the positive side, they love American movies, music, culture, food, etc. They rock and rap is big in Japan. Not really. No, not really. No, not big. It's got an audience, but they're not big. Japanese music is still the biggest. AKB48 is the biggest. They love blonde hair and blue eyes. They will be fascinated if they see you. Not much white people there except for soldiers. Yeah, this guy can barely write English. This Iron Man guy. Looks like an Ice-T icon. I can't really tell who this guy is. Member since he's I'll forget it. Who cares? Okay. Japanese in general are very polite in general, but only to those who are guests, not people who stay. How would you know that? How would you know they're only being nice to people who are guests? Japanese are very nationalistic. Not true. You rarely see the flag being flown here. They don't like Koreans, Chinese, Filipinos, and other Asian races. Debatable. Again, many Japanese are completely in love with the Korean culture. I have had in the past students, high school students, and many obasans, many middle-aged women who love Korean culture and they love going to Korea, and they're just so in love with Korea. So, and others my wife has traveled to a bunch of. One of the reasons I married my wife is because before I met her, she traveled to all over Asia by herself, alone, and she's been all the Asian countries more than I have, and she's quite fine. You know, she doesn't dislike Asians. I think Japanese in general dislike China as a country, but not necessarily Chinese as individuals. But I will say, I do know a few students who do not like Chinese. Koreans not so much. Right? They want to be Japanese. They want Japanese to be pure, no mix with other Asians. Okay. Japanese in America loves white people. Yeah, this person can barely write. Okay. The last poster is a Japanese person who says, most of us hardly see them in Japan and hardly speak English very well. They are just English teachers to us. And that's probably the most accurate. So, long answer to this. What do Japanese people think of white people? The answer basically is they don't think anything of it. It's like asking Americans, what do Americans think of Japanese people? I don't know. They're good at math. They make robots. Is there a particular... Probably ignorant things, just like, Americans are very ignorant when it comes to... the most typical thing is a penis joke, which is silly. I have met some girls who think that we're exceptionally large. I've done my best to not disappoint them. No. I can't say anything. I can't really speak about that. But yeah, ignorance exists everywhere. And again, this again comes to my final answer. Who cares? If you're going to come to Japan, come to Japan. There are thousands of us who've been to Japan and come to Japan and have had successful, happy lives in Japan. You can do the same. Don't let it stop you. So, why do you even ask this question? I don't know. Maybe I was stupid to answer this question. I apologize. But I'm done with this one, and I have one more or two more to answer before I go to sleep tonight. It's 2:39 a.m. I'll stick this out and get to the next question.